Do not pull out in front of trucks. That will get you killed. Opening the hood. That's right, you read the title correctly. This is a repeat failure right here. I think what we're looking at is a Nissan Altima. Don't know the mileage yet because this is my first time experiencing this car. Looks like it's an 05 Altima. Yep. It is the SL trim model. It has approximately 77,250 miles on the odometer. Let us starting the engine. Customer states they just had some work done on it once upon a time, not long ago actually. And now the service engine soon illuminator is illuminated. I'm gonna go ahead and fetch the scan tool. That's our problem here. Let's see what the trouble codes say, and then we can go from there. So stay tuned because this is gonna be a very good Nissan video. All right, coming in with the scan tool, powering on, beep. Oh, by the way, I forgot to say hi everybody. Good day to you. Welcome back. Let's get this thing plugged in. There we go. All right, scan tool is gonna bring up us some data. We're gonna pull trouble codes and see what this thing's talking about with a check engine light illuminator. Scanner, let's get some AC going while we're in here. We're looking for Nissan Datsun. You guys remember Datsuns? LMNOP, Nissan, there we go. Nissan, it's a Nissan, automatic ID. Satellites are linking up in outer space through the Wi-Fi. Gonna work? Waiting. It's not gonna auto ID. Now we're stuck. Hey, please wait. I've been waiting. We're still stuck. Still waiting. Satellites have linked up. Alrighty, we're in. We got an 05 Nissan Altima, 2.5 liter 4-cylinder. Let's enter engine. What do we have? Show me the trouble codes. Still waiting. Initializing communication. One moment. Camshaft position sensor problem. Bank 1 P0340. Okay. I know. What could that mean? Let's go into data and see if we can get a live reading on what that camshaft is doing. Codes, menu, freeze frame, data. There we go. Data, no codes. We want data. All of the data. All of the information we can possibly get information on. Engine data 1. Sure, we'll start in the beginning. Okay, data's pulling up. We've got things like RPM, mass airflow voltage, grams per second in mass airflow readings, calculated load, coolant temp. What are my O2 sensors doing? It's actually got an air-fuel ratio sensor and then an O2 sensor. That's the one behind the cat. It's just a different type. Got battery voltage, scrolling along, intake temp, fuel level. It's not what I want. Nope, not what I want. Okay, we're in the wrong data menu, backing out. Okay, I'm scrolling through data 2, and data 2 is not telling me what I want. Let's go back out and go into data 3. And data 3 is not giving me camshaft position sensor information either. I want to know if the cams are advanced or if they're retarded. I want to know if they're sticking there or if this is an intermittent, or I want to know if it's just losing its camshaft position sensor signal. I don't know, but I want to know. I need to know. That's what we're trying to know. What is this under special tests? VT assign angle degrees? Is that valve train angle? That might be what we're looking for here. Let's pull this thing up and see what this self-test wants us to do. Ah, okay. It says warm up engine before starting test, or test will not run. Keep engine at 2,500 RPM during test. Okay. Continue. Well, it's idling at 800, so we're gonna have to give it some throttle here. Let's do 2,500. Let's see what this thing does. How about 2,600? Back it off some. We have too many hundreds. Right there, that's what we're looking for. So let's see. No, no, no. Intake valve, bank 1. I don't know if this is what I need. As I select the plus, I think it's changing the valve train angle. So far we're moved up to 10 degrees. Okay, the camshaft seems to be responding to commands. Let's go ahead and back out of this menu and do a visual inspection of the engine. Well, okay, so we've got some direction. Let us pop an INGSI hood and power this thing down. Let us locate the camshaft position sensor. I think it was labeled the B1 sensor. Anyway, let's locate the camshaft position angle sensors. And let's check the connectors, make sure the connectors are good and connected. And we'll check the wiring. And then we'll go from there. Okay, a couple things we need to accomplish here. Let's get a little bit of light on the subject. Light bar engaged, powering on, surface of the sun mode. There we go. And we need to pull this engine cover off. As I understand, and like I mentioned earlier, there were some previous repairs that were attempted on this vehicle. I think that it got like a tune-up, some spark plugs, something like that. Nothing major. So I don't know if they had to replace those components trying to resolve this issue or what the deal is, but we're going to go back and check all that work and make sure that that's good, and then we'll deal with this cam position problem business. Stop getting stuck. I'll run it sideways. There we go. Take bolts out sideways. There we go. Get wrenched it is. Ooh. Bolt gravity. I heard it hit the ground, no worries. Alright, so judging from the look of this thing here, we've got a new valve cover, or at least a very, very clean valve cover. It's got a set of coils on there, which leads me to believe that there's also a set of plugs in there. And based on all this sealant right here, I'm assuming somebody put a timing chain in this once, perhaps. Did I work on this? Did I put this this valve cover on? I wonder if this was me. I don't know. I didn't think it was. I don't think I've seen this car before. It happens though, you never know. Anyway, that looks like a new upstream O2 sensor, new-ish. I think that is our cam position sensor connector right back here. Let me go over to all data and take a look at that and see if that's that is what we're looking for or not. Okie dokes, logging into the all data. Got the VIN saved here. Let's paste that in. There's our VIN that's going to look up the vehicle. And what was that code? P0340? P0340, I don't remember. P30, yep, camshaft, position sensor A, circuit, bank 1. Okay, pulling up location here. We're zooming in. This is the driver's side of the cylinder head. That's the O2 sensor connector right there. And it appears that that is our phase camshaft position sensor location right there. So what we're looking at outside is the correct one. Okay. All right, so going back to revisit this sensor, let's see if I can't get it to easily disconnect. We can take a look at the pins in the connector first. Let's remove this coolant temp sensor first. Come here. Come disconnected. There we go. Get rid of that one. It wasn't connected very well, I don't think. Yeah, those pins look okay. Does somebody pierce probe these wires? No, those are good, okay. All right, let's plug this thing back in. Make sure that's got a good connection. Plug that guy back in so we know we're connected. We know it's in good shape. Let's take a look. I don't think that sensor has been replaced or anything like that, so nobody's tried to troubleshoot this issue. That's fine. Back inside, I really would like to see the live data for where the camshafts are positioned while the engine's running. So let us restarting the engine. Beginning engine starting. Here we go. All right, so under code definitions in my scan tool for P0340, this code will set when the ECM detects an open or a short in the camshaft position sensor circuit. So that means an open is meaning the sensor is not connected to anything, as if pretend I unplugged the connector and then tried to run it. That would be an open circuit because it's not complete. A short circuit is when the wires are shorting together or there is a hard connection between the wires circumventing the actual sensor. Now, a short or an open can occur within a sensor, and a short or an open can occur in the wiring somewhere. So just because we have the code does not mean we need a sensor. It could also indicate the possibility of a wiring issue. So what I'm going to do is we're going to go and perform what's called loud noises. It's going to be called the wiggle test, and we basically just get a hold of the wires and we're going to aggravate them, wiggle them around, and we're going to observe the engine. If the engine were to stall or run rough or anything changes while wiggling it, we can then hypothesize that there's some kind of damage in the harness, again an open or a short, causing the code. Not really seeing anything kind of out of place here. Let's move these ones as well. Where's the ECM? Down here? Yeah, I don't think we're going to find anything wrong with this harness. And that's pretty good too. Okay, let's head back inside. We'll pull the, I've got to find the data. I need to find scan pool data for that specific sensor. Ooh, without getting water on the floor of the carpet. Well, this is nice. Over here in this sub-menu, we have a test button. Let's go ahead and run the test. So we've got a tech tip also, camshaft position sensor test. Camshaft position sensor CMP is located near the rear cylinder head, we know, and or near the bell housing, which is where we were at. Let's see here. The signal is used by the ECM to determine the cylinder number. Intermittent faults are common and may require the use of component testing or a lab scope to diagnose. Check for square wave output. Well, we're not going to do that because I don't have a lab scope. Okay, so I don't have a lab scope, so I can't scope the wave output from the sensor. Maybe I can get some kind of info out of this from live data. So I've got to find the PID somewhere that tells me where that camshaft is. So here's what we're looking at for possible causes. We have a wire problem. We have a connector problem, which I doubt. We have a connection problem. Again, I don't think we do. We may have an intermittent problem with the sensor itself. For example, it reaches a certain temperature and it goes open circuit. We may also have a physical problem with the engine. If the camshaft in play is excessive, then the reluctor ring that cues the sensor in regards to the camshaft position, like wherever it is actually sitting in rotation, if that camshaft end thrust is too far, the reluctor wheel can get too far away from the sensor, and then the sensor can't read the position on the wheel, and it'll say, hey, I'm open circuit, I'm not working out. So we could have physical engine wear. It could also be out of time, which I don't think it is. It runs fairly smooth. Yeah, I don't think we're out of time, but that doesn't mean we don't have some kind of wear or slop in the system somewhere else. Okay, next I'm pulling up freeze frame data. What freeze frame data is, it's going to take a snapshot of all of the relevant data that was going on at the moment that trouble code had been set. So I'm looking to see if the PID is going to be in here. See, there's the DTC that was stored, camshaft position sensor problem, bank 1, and I don't see a readout on where the cams were at that moment. Yeah, see, it tells me coolant temp, so the vehicle was at operating temperature. It was at 24% load. Fuel trims were okay. Engine speed was 1,344 RPMs. Vehicle was not moving. Okay. There's the code and end of list. My data is remarkably limited. This is fun. Okay, I have an idea. Let's try to think outside of the box here. The proper way, as we saw earlier, is to scope this. So what I'm going to find out is if this code is current, like it's happening right now, or if this code is showing up intermittently. So I'm going to clear it, and we're going to shut it down, maybe do a drive cycle, and I want to see. Okay, I cleared the code, engine shut off. Power that down, power that back on, continue. Code clear was a success. I'll do one more with the engine off just to make sure it's cleared out. Initializing, it's communicating. Come on, scanning tool. Okay, there's the code again. Let's try to clear it one more time. Back it up. Clear trouble codes, yes, I'm sure. Come on, come on, come on. Please. Okay, code clear success. key off, key back on. Let's check trouble codes again. What I want to see is if it's here right now or if I have to drive this to get it to come back. That's going to tell me the nature of the failure. No codes present, okay. Starting the engine. That was a long crank. Look at that, there it is. Came back twice. So the problem is present right now. That's interesting. Okie doke, so here's how I'm gonna digest this situation. I don't believe we have a sensor circuit problem. I'm leaning towards there's an actual issue with the sensor. It's either gonna be the sensing unit or we're gonna have some kind of internal engine issue. As we saw, I kinda need to lab scope that, back probe the connector and then scope it, but I cannot do such things. So my plan to make this as streamlined as possible is actually going to be the cardinal sin of parts cannoning. Parts cannoning. What I'm gonna do, since this is incredibly easy to get out, and I imagine that sensing unit is not a lot of money, I'm gonna toss one in. I'm gonna toss one in and then we're gonna go out and drive it and then see if we get that code to reoccur. If the code does not reoccur, then my triagnostic was correct. If it does reoccur with a known good sensor in that location, then I have failed and we have to start looking at things more internal to the engine, like camshaft in play, or perhaps there's a phaser that's hanging up at the chains, something for the variable valve timing. There could be some kind of an issue internally. Now, the reason that I'm okay with just tossing a part in there is, like I said, that's really easy. Anything else to diagnose is going to be somewhat difficult and a little bit labor intensive. So it's actually more cost effective for me to just take the risk of tossing that $40-something sensor in there and then seeing how it goes. If it goes okay, then we're good, and if it does not go okay, then we can start to move into the direction of more invasive diagnostics. But I think for preliminarily what we're looking at, I think that's going to be the best course of action. So what I need, I think, is looking like a 10 mil. See it down there. I need a 10 mil wrench. It's going to sneak in there and get that bolt out, and then we'll pop that sensor out and get the new one. But first I need to order a new one, so let me do that real quick and then we'll pull that bolt out of there. Okie dokes, I've ordered a replacement unit. I was going to record that part, but things are getting a little loud in there, so I figured it'd be best to just keep that to myself. Let me unclick. There we go. It's a little hot inside of this engine. It's been running. Well, you guys know that. You were there. Yeah, let's get this this little bolt out of here. This is harder than I think it was because I can't get a wrench on it. Let me unbolt this bolt. We'll fish this sensor out without burning my fingers here. And then by the time I get this thing out, perhaps the new one will have arrived. And then we can toss it in and go from there, I think. Ooh, hot. Ooh, hot. It's not working. Here, I know how to get this out of here without burning my flanges. We will insulate them with an insulator. And see, the issue here is that there's a coolant hose right there. And I've got to sneak this bolt out. My hand has to touch other things that are hot, like the rest of the engine. And it makes me want to burn myself. I mean, I don't want to, but it happens. Hot, 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 hot. Staying alive. Come on, bolt. Woo, warm. I could wait, but you guys know me. I'm impatient. I'm not gonna wait. I'll just burn myself. There we go. It's almost out. Almost. There it is. Okay. I have retrieved the bolt. Let's pop this little sensing unit out of here and take a look at it. Wiggle it some. It's not coming out. Let's turn it some. I'll get in there with a pry driver. That'll help. Let's just get behind it a little bit and kind of pop it out. The O-ring tends to capture things like that, and that's what the issue is here. So how's this thing looking? Is that an OE sensor, or is this something different? No, this has been there for a while. See the O-ring, how it's flattened? If this was a replacement sensor, that O-ring would still be circular. Okay. Okie dokes, X amount of time has passed and I have a replacement unit. Now we can see this is slightly different than the original. The original was a square shaped sensor and this one is round. I don't believe that that's going to be an issue because the reluctor wheel, or the pickup wheel, is at the end of the sensor, so it shouldn't really care as long as the depth is correct, and I believe it is. So let me just sneak this super hot bolt back in and we can plug this guy back in, reconnect it, but restart the engine and then see if we can get the code to clear. Maybe we'll luck out and I don't have to do engine work on this. I don't think we're going to do engine work on this because it is just an Altima and these 2.5s are somewhat expensive to do timing work on. It might even need like a cylinder head or something. I don't want to do that. Not on this thing. I'm babbling on about the horrors of Nissans. The Chryslers of Japan. A little tighter. There we go. Come on, bolt click. This might have been easier if I had taken like the airbox apart, but I didn't, and I won't do it the hard way. Reaching final 10 mil click now. Right there is good. Let us plug this thing back in. We'll head back into the cabin, restart the unit, and we'll see if this thing's gonna run properly or not. Gonna plug in, or did I just install the wrong stuff? Seriously? The wrong thing. Okay. No, it's not. I just was putting the connector on wrong. User error. Okay. Back into the cabin. Let us restarting the engine. We'll check for trouble code status and then go from there. Beginning engine starting sequence. Where's my keys now? There they are. All right. Wow. Okay. Look at that. No light. It's like already off, and I didn't even turn it off. Let's go ahead and check codes. Come on! Yep, there's the codes. So the mill is off, the codes are still stored. Let me go in here and clear these guys out. Mill is still off. No malfunction indicator lamp is indicated. Good. Initializing again. Codes are cleared. Back into codes menu. Show me the no codes. No codes present. Okay, so far we're looking good. I think a final test drive will confirm this to be a fix or a non-fix. Okay, after a brief hiatus, backing out again, I actually stopped and went inside and then got distracted. And then this giant rainstorm came and flooded the parking lot and prevented me from driving outside of said parking lot safely. So it has been X amount of time since I was fixing to leave the first time, but now I feel confident that it is safe and okay to drive in the inclement weather on our bright Florida sunshiny day. Anyway, we're back in the car. Scan tools pulled back up. Interestingly enough, before we get going, I actually did find a PID for the intake camshaft timing. If we look right here, we've got intake valve timing, bank 1 in degrees. There's only one bank, and right now we're hanging out at 2 degrees. Throw this thing in neutral, and we can watch it change as I advance the throttle. See, 40 degrees advance, 42. Stabilize now, 22, 24, 35, blah, blah, blah. Throttle, burp it. Off the throttle, it's hanging out down at 0. Let's check it while cranking real quick. So we're gonna power this down. Okay, that's it. Rest, we're 0 while cranking. No crazy negative numbers, stayed pretty stable. I'm leaning away from this thing having like a camshaft in play, or like a loose timing chain or broken tensioner issue. It's possible, but again, I figured a triagnostic with the sensor would probably be the most cost-effective way to make that determination. So we're gonna go out and drive this thing around for a little while, as long as the weather's not too nasty. And if all is well, I'm gonna give it back to the guy with the caveat of, hey, this thing could have some kind of timing chain issue or a tensioner issue or some camshaft in-play issue or thrust. I don't know, and in short of taking it apart to make that determination, considering that I do not have an oscilloscope here, I figured tossing that part in would be the most effective way to make that determination. Since we're using the process of elimination to conclude that it is not a sensor, and it is not the connector, and it is not a wire. Yeah, as soon as we pulled out, it started raining more. This is crazy town. Bright, sunshiny day. The good news is we still don't have a malfunction indicator lamp, and we do not have any trouble codes that are pending. Yeah, this is going to be a short test drive. The ROADs are getting kind of flooded. That first wave came through and saturated everything. All the subsequent rainstorms, those are just going to add to the water table until it can all drain. Hope this thing has good tires. Do not pull out in front of trucks. That will get you killed. I know that seems like common sense, but I keep seeing like these internet videos of people brake checking trucks, so they just pull right on out because they think trucks are slow. And I guess folks don't understand the concept of those trucks are going just as fast as the rest of us, and they weigh 80,000 pounds, and they don't stop like the rest of us. So if you drive out in front of them, they will run you over, and then you will become flat, and it's going to be difficult for you to survive if in fact you are flat with a truck on top of you. So don't pull out in front of trucks. Silly. So I've been glancing over at the scan tool data. We're still paying attention to the number that's underneath the highlighted number. That's the camshaft timing, and it seems to be following its desired position. So the one that's highlighted, that's the solenoid indicating the position that it's desiring, and then the actual is going to be the number right below it right there. And it appears that the actual is in sync with the desired. So I'm believing that we are not seeing an issue with timing just yet. That doesn't mean it's not there. It just means it's not showed up, or it's not there and we fixed the problem by parts cannoning this the sensor in the thing. Point being is I'm paying attention to scan tool data. We just want to make sure that we're on the right track here. We also are going to need some defrost action. Getting a little foggy in here. Here, let's give it some throttle while in gear and see what happens with that timing. It's going to climb up. We're pretty decent. Yeah, it's steady. See how we're not just flopping around? We're not seeing like a negative number show up. We're not seeing this measurement, you know, go between 60 and 40 and 30. It's all remaining consistent and stable, and that's good. If there was excessive slack in the chain, we might see that figure bounce around. Additionally, if the camshaft had a lot of thrust play in it, the back and forth motion, it would also change the desired, or the measured output angle of that camshaft, and it would be an erratic signal, and we would see those numbers jumping around, which we do not at this time. So I think we might have got it. Silly tractor. We don't cut grass in the rain. So much water. Oh no. We're floating. Floating and sliding and sinking and floating. It's not okay. All right, creeping up to another light here. I've been reviewing the data. That stuff's looking pretty good so far. So what I'm gonna do, watch this. I'm gonna shut her down. Restart the engine. The reason that I did that is if there's a trouble code that's pending, it may not actuate the indicator lamp until the next restart. So I just went ahead and did the restart. So what we're gonna do is go back into the ECM, check for those trouble code one more time. No communication, pish posh, don't lie to me. Begin communicating now. It's because I don't have any satellites to link up to in outer space. There we go. No codes present. Beautimous, I like that. All right. Well, since we've gone through a few miles of driving, all the data is looking good. The data that I wish I had pulled up earlier when I was initially diagnosing this might have made things easier. I think we're in good shape here. I'm gonna go ahead and U-turn this, swing this thing back into the shop. We're gonna shut her down. I'll probably go ahead and recheck it in the morning, do one more test drive just to make sure that we don't get any weird trouble code issues or weird valve timing variations during a cold start. But other than that, I think we pretty much got this thing under control, and the problem has been solved simply by changing out the sensor. Additionally, at 70-something thousand miles, I really don't think that this thing's gonna have a worn out timing chain. I mean, anything's possible, but it seems to be somewhat unlikely. So I do believe that we have gone in the right direction, and that should be sufficient for now. So that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and focus on driving in the rain and close this video out right now. I will do such things as always by thanking all of you guys and gals for watching this video. Certainly hope you enjoyed this video. Please feel free to read in the comment section down below about throwing parts at cars. It's okay, I'm a big kid, I can take it. But sometimes, and the point of the video was to show that on occasion, that's actually the most cost-effective way to go about troubleshooting something. That way I don't have to start tearing engines apart just to measure things that might not be wrong with it. So anyway, before I start rambling on about some crazy nonsensical tangent, again, and as always, thank you guys for watching. And most importantly, do not forget to have yourselves a great day. See you guys later. End of video, end of Nissan, end of transmission. All right, we've got to make a break for it. It's getting pretty nasty out there. Let me gather the goods and we're gonna run for it. Ah, here we go. Oh no, I left the lights on. Ah, what's wrong with me? Okay, run. See you later, Nissan.